Hello dear students. So finally the results are out and all of you have settled down with the results. You have seen what your marks are. Since yesterday a lot of questions have come regarding permanent exemption, regarding unit scheme, which paper to write, whether to write in September or not. So in this video I'll be covering all of these aspects. This is specially for CA intermediate students. So if you are someone who is planning to write in September 24, you are confused about exemption, permanent exemption, all of those doubts will be clarified in this video. Do share this video with your friends, do like this video so that it can reach more students like you. And also a short message that we are providing currently our CA classes for free for limited period. You can have a look at that on our website indigolearn.com as well. Right now, first thing I would like to address is this question on permanent exemption. As you are aware that institute has under the new scheme allowed permanent exemption for students after 3 attempts. What does that mean? So if you are someone who is writing in September 24 attempt, right, what you need to understand is if you have got some exemption in November 22, please remember this is not about passing a full group. This is about getting an exemption but not passing the group. This exemption was valid for May 23. This was valid for November 23 and this was valid for May 24, right? Now after this normal exemption, this gets lapsed, but you have a choice. What is that choice? You can make this exemption permanent by filing a form. For that I have created a separate video, you can have a look at it. You can make it permanent and from September 24 onwards you can claim it as a permanent exemption, but there is a catch here. What is the catch? If let us say for example you have exemption in law, okay, now if you have exemption in law, then if your normal period has passed away or it has expired and now you want a permanent exemption, then what you have to understand is in group 1 in advanced accounting you need to score minimum 50, in taxation you should score minimum 50, and if you are writing both the groups, for aggregate purpose law will also be considered as 50 marks only. So there is a catch here. So carefully take this decision whether you can score 50 in advanced accounting and taxation independently. Only then you decide whether you want to take a permanent exemption or not. Sometimes it is difficult. For example, in papers like let's say audit, or sometimes in papers like FMSM, it is not very easy to score 50 marks, right? So please be very careful before making this choice. In fact, even in some cases for some students, law being a theory paper will be difficult. So before making something permanent, please understand, will you be able to get 50 marks in the remaining subjects? See, once you make it permanent, in the next attempt you can surrender that exemption, that is there. But while making the choice, please be extra careful. That is the first message on permanent exemption for the students. Second thing is, a lot of students who have written unit 2D or unit 3, they have got 60 plus but were unsuccessful. Now institute has made it, instead of pass and fail, they have started saying unsuccessful. We will also start saying unsuccessful. If you have got 60 plus but if you are unsuccessful, then you get exemption in that paper. You can claim exemption in that paper, which means in the next attempt you only need to write the remaining papers of the unit. And a quick recap for other students who are coming from old syllabus. Old syllabus means before, if you have written examination in November 23 or before that, what you need to understand is if you have cleared group 1, then you have to write unit 2D. If you have cleared group 2, you have to write unit 3. And group 1 clearing and group 2 clearing, all those subjects are permanently exempted. You don't need to worry about that at all. For example, if you clear group 1, then what is concerning for you is only FMSM plus audit. So how to pass? 40 each and 100 in aggregate, right? So this covers all the scenarios in short. A lot of students are getting confused. Please don't get confused. You will get exemptions in unit also. Before claiming permanent exemption, you have to be doubly sure as to how is your grip or preparation in the remaining papers, right? So based on that only you should decide about the permanent exemption. Then the third thing which a lot of students are asking is, should we write one group in September 24 or should we write both the groups in September 24? That purely depends on your preparation. Please understand, we have only 2 months time. For someone who is not fully confident in both the groups, I would not suggest you to go for both the groups. Okay, please write only one group in this attempt, and the next group you can write in January attempt. Please, because 2 months time would go away in your revision for one group. If you have prepared properly, if you have prepared everything properly, and you just need revisions, then you may think of both the groups. But if somewhere you have a doubt that I am not fully prepared for one group, then don't take up that group, don't take that extra pressure. Write only one group in this attempt. Next group can be taken care in the month of January. And one other query what a lot of students have asked me is, sir, our exemption details are not automatically reflected. Please understand, results were declared yesterday. Institute will take some time to update those results for your exam filing purpose. So if you're filling the exam forms, you can wait for 1 or 2 days, or claim them manually, because your whatever exemptions are there in the marks, you will get this thing called EX, that is exempted. Okay, so that you can do. Coming back to this permanent exemption, I have seen some messages coming to me, and where they have said that in a case what has happened is the student has scored 152 total if you consider the exempted marks, but because he has claimed permanent exemption in one of the papers he got only 40, he was declared as unsuccessful. So that is one thing you have to keep in mind before taking the permanent exemption. So if there are any further queries which are to be addressed. Okay, so Venkatesh has a query. Sir, I cleared group 1 and got exemption in costing in May 24 exams. Now while filling the exam, so very good question, Venkatesh. If you have written in new syllabus, then unit is not applicable. Please understand, if you have written examination in only in new syllabus, you don't have any previous exemption, or if you have not passed any group earlier, then unit is not applicable at all. So if you have got exemption in costing, then you have to file for group 2 and write the remaining 2 papers. Don't go for unit scheme. Okay, so that is the question. Any other questions? Right, so no more questions. You can ask questions as a comment in this link as well. Subsequently, I will have a look at it and I'll respond to them to the extent possible. And just one extra thing, though at the cost of repetition, I would like to say that for permanent exemption, please think twice. Please think twice before taking permanent exemption, because it is not easy to score 50 plus in the remaining papers always. It is possible, but it is not really easy. So that is one thing you have to keep in mind. Thanks a lot for joining in. We'll also have separate sessions on your strategy for the next 60 days, subject specific what you should do, and how you should proceed for September attempt. Varun has one question. My exemption will expire in November 22. So if your exemption is expiring in November 24, okay, you can make it permanent only after November 24 results. You cannot make it before that. Okay, so only after November 24 results, before filing the examination form, you should make it permanent, not before that. Thank you guys, and we'll keep on catching up on more such issues based on what students are asking, and accordingly we'll come up with more videos. Thanks a lot. Do like the video and do share it with your friends as well.